So I've talked on the YouTube channel quite a bit about Prison Break, and this being one of my favorite shows of all time, guys. Absolutely incredible show, to say the least. And like I said, I've talked about it a number of times here on the YouTube channel, but I want to talk about some of, the things that may have happened here that really brought the demise of Prison Break and brought down this franchise that I've had such high regard for and so much excitement for, as far as from the perspective of season 1 to season 4 in particular. And I want to talk about what happened to Prison Break and what I think the future needs to look like for this franchise moving forward if they do decide to continue it in the form of season 6, so on and so forth. And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, let's get into it. So let's talk about season 1 to 4, guys. Prison Break starts off on an incredible pace with season 1. Kind of slow at first, builds up, and then you get to season 2, which of course after they break out, that was just the beginning. Season 2 really ramped up, the excitement in the series. Then you get to season 3, and it's more about, breaking out, whether it's, breaking out of different prisons and things of that nature, and the stakes get higher and higher. And then, of course, season 4 is when they, of course, are taking down the, basically the guys who were behind the entire operation and such. And so it was a very great combination. And what we're going to talk about, guys, is if you have not seen Prison Break, we are going to be talking about some spoilers here. So if you haven't seen Prison Break, I highly recommend seeing seasons 1 to 4, one of the greatest shows of all time without question. But we're going to be specifically talking about the ending of Prison Break season 4, so you've been warned, and moving forward after season 4. Because really, the question is what happened here? A show that was so beloved by so many from Fox, so many people became this real cult following of people wanting more Prison Break, loving the show as a whole. And then we get to season 4, which I believe was the best season, of course, in the entire, series. And it all built up to that moment, and it was satisfying, the ending. Yeah. So the ending, of course, guys, Michael Scofield, the main character, dies in the show, but at the same time, he sacrificed everything so that his friends and family were free. Once again,
he married Sarah. They had a son. Mm-hmm. And I was very happy with the ending. Like, I was ready for it to just be done. Like, It was a great show. It was just so thought out and, just a genius, the way they wrote it and the way the characters, the great acting. But I think certain shows, when they keep going for too long, I think it ruins the show. And it was 4 seasons. It was really good. And the way they ended it, was it sad? Absolutely, because Michael Scofield, he was the main character. He was the whole reason the show was there. And so it was sad, but they were all together in that final scene, just remembering Michael. And I think it was a beautiful way to end the show.
Yeah, I thought it was perfect as well. I thought that it was a perfect way to end the show. And then when they announced season 5, I already in my mind was pretty, I was pretty disheartened by it, because I'm like, wow, they're just going to milk this show out for all that it's worth. And season 5 comes out, and sure enough, faking his own death. It's like, oh yeah, this is totally something that you could believe from Michael Scofield. But I would have rather seen something like that concept, him faking his own death, in season 2. At the end of season 2, it's like, oh, is he dead or not? And then you get to season 3, and he faked his own death kind of thing. It was like this brilliant master plan. But I just thought season 1 to 4 was so perfectly orchestrated, from beginning to end, with all the characters and everything. And then you get to season 5, and it just felt so forced. It was unbelievable. Yeah. And that's what I feel was the downfall. And what's interesting about this, though, guys, is that we talk about this all the time on the YouTube channel. It takes one movie, it takes one game to turn you in the wrong direction. And then all it takes is one game or one movie, one season to turn you right back into a positive direction. So let's talk about the future. Because Fox, obviously, they say, you know what, let's reboot Prison Break. And they do that, of course, in the form of season 5, which, of course, I know Some people liked it, but many of us did not like it who are longtime of course, Prison Break fans.
Yeah.
So the question is now that they decided to bring it back, because those are facts, it came back. Mm-hmm. So what now? So season 6, what could they maybe do? Because to me, it's like, okay, well, they should have greenlit 3 more seasons, not just season 5. They should have greenlit, if they greenlit season 5, they should have had a plan for season 6 and a season 7 at least to really kind of continue the legacy, the lore, the story of Prison Break. And obviously, we have not seen the continuation as of yet in the form of season 6. I think one of the reasons was from a financial perspective. It's all about money, guys, for the studios, and they're seeing not maybe as much of a return on investment as they did from seasons 1 to 4. Season 5, like I said, was a massive letdown, not just for the fan base, but also for the studio. So where does that leave us? That leaves us with a series that's in limbo right now, a series that we don't know if it's ever going to come back. And what we're left with is season 1 to 4, which was a masterpiece, and an asterisk around season 5. And those are things that really bother me, guys, because look, I would have never wanted them to bring back season 5, but since they did, I would love to see, because if season 5 was awesome, I mean, obviously season 6 would have been greenlit, but I would like to see them at least end this thing off on a high note. Don't just end it with season 5 and that's it. You guys, you made your bed here. It's time for you to now lay in it or make it once again. And so I think that they really need to create a season 6. Even if that's the end, just end off on a high note. Don't end it where you did with season 5, where they're leaving it open like they're going to continue into season 6 anyway. So, like I said, guys, I think of shows like Sons of Anarchy. I think of shows like The Sopranos. I think of, all these shows that have had endings. They've been so satisfying for the most part. I mean, these, critically acclaimed shows have had these beginnings to the end, and they're critically acclaimed. Now, like I said, what I would have preferred with Prison Break would have been a spin-off, kind of like what Sons of Anarchy did. They had seasons 1 to 7. Then they did a spin-off show called Mayans MC. And that's perfectly fine. I love that they're continuing that legacy of the show and such. But I just think that they, it would have been like acting like Jax faked his own death or something. It just doesn't.
And that can't happen. He literally drove into a truck.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want, and that's the thing. You wouldn't even want that to happen. You felt like a satisfying end to, Jax's story. You felt a very satisfying ending to Michael Scofield, and leave it at that. Why are you going to continue trying to milk it for all it's worth? I mean, we see Breaking Bad, they created that show, and then they do a spinoff, Better Call Saul. I would have loved to see a Prison Break spinoff. Like a spinoff where you saw maybe his son was now like the next mastermind,
or Lincoln kind of stepped in and was like Michael's brother. Or you kind of in the 5th season, I feel like they didn't need to bring Michael back. Like, they could have had Lincoln step in and protect his family from the guys who were behind this, because Sarah's married to the bad guy and all this stuff. And I think Lincoln could have been the one that, like Lincoln and, all the guys from the season. They could have stepped in and protected Michael's family and not necessarily brought Michael back. I think bringing Michael back, kind of ruined it.
Yeah, I know.
They gave him his ending. Gave Michael his ending.
No.
Now, unless season 4 would have ended where, they had a scene at the end where only we saw him in the Yemen prison that he was in wasn't he in the Yemen prison in the 5th season? And that's where they were escaping him from?
Season 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
They were trying to get him out of this Yemen prison where he had been living dead. Mm-hmm. And once they found out he was alive, his guys from the, what was the bald guy's name?
Sucre?
No. Well, yeah, him, but the other one.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, so Sucre, one of the best friends Michael could have had. Mm-hmm. He was in his corner. They were cellmates in the 1st season. They really had a bond that could not be broken. And Sucre would have done anything for him. Mm-hmm. And so when they found out that he was still alive, they went and got him out. But I don't know. if they had the idea of making a 5th season, I think the 4th season should have ended with a clip of him at the end being in the prison. So then we would have known, like, oh man, he's still alive. Like, there's going to be... See, I think that would have made me way more excited for season 5. Knowing that he was like, oh my gosh, like, he's still alive. Yeah. And they don't know. But the way they ended it, I don't think they knew there was going to be a 5th season. Like, I don't think they thought they were going to make a 5th season. So they gave Michael an end. And I think he needed to stay ended.
You know, and I would have loved to see, bringing up Sucre, I would love to see a spin-off show in Prison Break for Sucre, or I think a lot of people, a polarizing figure in Prison Break was T-Bag. Theodore Bagwell, seeing a spin-off of him would have just, I actually think that would have been much bigger than Prison Break Season 5. If you would have done a spin-off of, like, specifically Sucre or specifically T-Bag, I think it would have been a much bigger show.
Now, I think they have a chance to redeem themselves with Season 6. I mean, but they'd have to make it really good. But obviously, Michael has to be in it because he was in the 5th season and he didn't die in the 5th season. So Michael's back. That's all there is to it. And if they do decide to go on with it, what are they going to do from here?
Yeah.
You know, is he going to be back with Sarah? Is he going to get to meet his son? You know, well, he did. But are they going to be a family? Are they going to have more issues coming their way? You know? But when I think of Prison Break now, I think of seasons 1 through 4. I don't even think about season 5. It's the original 4 seasons. That's what I recommend to people. I've told multiple people, you need to watch this, and they've binge watched it, and they love it. I tell them, don't even watch season 5, because I'll tell them to watch season 5 when there's a season 6.
Right.
I think season 5 would just ruin it for them. So...
And that brings up a good point, but that being said, guys, the real question, though, is what do you guys all think about this? Do you think that Prison Break should continue? Do you think it should just be left to be where it is? Or what do you guys all think about it? And what do you think happened here to Prison Break that they decided to bring, out a season 5? With that being said, guys, I'd love to hear guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. And for more Prison Break content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.